I was dying. I was crying of laughter. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is really bad. Like, it really was. It really was bad. Like, I mean, but that's not even the worst song on the album. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Back in business.
Back in business.
Again.
An episode of the Boys Review. I guess this is our first edition of the Disaster Piece series.
Yes.
Where we cover bad albums by some of our favorite artists that are memorable, like bad, but memorably bad. And this is a new release. This came out this year. This is Medicine at Midnight by our beloved Foo Fighters. I'm already laughing because this is like, oh boy. I guess a bit of backstory would help, like super quick. Foo Fighters, like for me, I didn't think I put out a bad album until this one. And my expectations were very tempered given that it was recorded during the pandemic. I wasn't expecting much from them. And then I remember one morning you're like, I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna dig into this. And I remember you texted me being like, okay, I actually cried of laughter.
I put it on like, just imagine the scene. I put on like my headphones. I was like, I'm ready to walk. I'm ready to listen to the new Foo Fighters album. And like within seconds, I was like laughing out loud on the street. Like if someone had seen me, they would have thought I was having a mental breakdown. Like,
oh yeah.
And I think it was also, I was so excited. It was the lockdown, like things were really bad. And I was like, you know what's going to lift my spirits? A Foo Fighters album. And I put it on. I was like, oh, even this isn't good.
Even this isn't good. It complemented the curfew we were in at the time. Because I remember when you showed me one of them, I was like, 'cause I think I'd heard maybe one of the singles leading up to it, but I wasn't terribly impressed. And then I was like, I'm going to go with Cloudbuster. And I was keeling over laughing in front of my oven. When I usually check my oven to see if I turn everything off every morning, I'm like, I was dying. I was crying of laughter. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is really bad. Like, it really was. It really was bad. Like, I mean, but that's not even the worst song on the album. So we'll get started. And as always, you guys can leave a comment below, give us a like and subscribe. We're trying to do an upload every week now. And feel free to recommend albums if you guys have any suggestions. We want to cover the songs that you guys like, the albums that you guys like. So I guess we'll start with Making a Fire. This is right away you can tell the Foo Fighters were going for something different with this album. It's got like these really cheesy like na 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 na.
Yeah, I admit that's what made me laugh at first. I was like, oh, this is desperate.
Yeah.
But honestly, that part is the part I like the most about the album, actually, is that the na. It's really catchy. I think it's in a car commercial now.
It is. I was just gonna say I saw it in a car commercial.
Yeah, it's in a car commercial.
It is.
But yeah, I mean that's catchy, but can I remember anything about the rest of the song?
It's still really phoned in. Me neither. It's also like you can tell right away there's something with the mixing in this album, which we'll get to later when we get the Cloud Spotter, but it's like it sounds like Dave Grohl's vocals are so separated from or so removed from the rest of the mix. It's really odd. I can't put my finger on it. But it is catchy. I'll give it that. But I still don't really like it. I don't.
It sounds like this is a big problem with a lot of the album. It sounds like it's classic rock trying to be modern day top 40 pop. So
yeah, it does.
Same as like when we did the Bare Naked Ladies review. It just sounds like your dad in the backyard trying to dab or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about this album. It's painfully dad. It reeks of dad. It's I get I know much else I can really say about Making a Fire. It's just kind of boring, honestly, but it's catchy. It's one of the better songs on Otherwise,
I'd say it's
forgettable album. Because I should preface this by saying we like the Foo Fighters. We really like them, and we're gonna review more albums on this channel. We actually really like them. And I for the record, I feel like your drop off was sooner than mine. Like I enjoyed their past few albums, and you're like, no.
Okay, now that I've heard this one, I'm like, okay, maybe the last two aren't that bad. Right. They were definitely not disaster pieces, but they just weren't. I don't know, weren't as inspired. And
I get what you mean.
But they're a band that don't really owe us anything. They're like one of the best live bands I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, they're crazy.
And if they want to make like anything and just go on tour, that's cool.
They don't owe us an explanation.
No, you're right.
I mean, maybe for this one they do, but and move on to Shame.
Yeah, right.
I think that like lame would be a better title for this. Okay, that's really bad. I got to work on my jokes.
Lame.
It's so lame.
Okay. To be fair for this song, everyone accuses the Foo Fighters of like doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
At least this song tries to be different. Like it's, it's not like their normal like anthemic like big guitar song. Like it's got an acoustic guitar and it's really like kind of like it's really slinky and like I don't know, almost sounds like it could be like a Bond theme. Like it's got some ideas there.
It's got something going on, but it's never
so boring.
And
boring.
It never really gets the point.
Single? Like
what? That's it. Yeah, I know. It's just kind of doesn't really get to like. There's no climax. There's no point where you're like, okay, wow, this is the moment I was waiting for in this song. It doesn't. It just kind of like disappoints you. It ends and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I don't really like songs that just kind of tell you the emotion they're trying to say, like shame. I mean, no, it seems a bit lazy. I don't know.
It's a bit contrived.
Yeah, I do respect them for trying here, like I really do. But it's not the worst song. It's just really boring and like the poor choice for a first single. Like it's not.
I know.
It did not get me excited at all. But
it's just kind of the same thing over and over again. Like it's just this dun 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 dun, and again, like it's funny when the Foo Fighters like get caught repeating themselves. I find because they're usually pretty good at coming up with different choruses and different hooks, but it's just the same thing over and over.
Yeah, they usually have like 3 or 4 great riffs in there, and then this one's just like
and then now we're on to Cloud Spotter. Oh boy. That was the song that had me keeling over in stitches in front of my oven.
Yeah,
it is so catchy, but so bad. It's them trying to like.
No, it sounds. The chorus just sounds like a chorus from another song that's just been like glued on to this funky part, and it's so unattached.
It really sounds like a burning mess. It really does sound like a hot pile. It does not.
And when he's like yells out bang bang bang.
We're gonna react to that one day because I was dying of laughter when I heard that. It was like, no, Dave Grohl, no. It was like bang bang bang, you're so mean, go and look good, go and look good, and swing guillotine queen. It's just like levels of bad. Again, from a band that we expect a lot more from. It's just because I think it's, like I said, the mix, something about it sounds off. Like it sounds like they recorded it in like their mansions like opposite sides of the country when they were like really bored or something. And it's kind of ambitious because it's them trying to be like a bit of like Bowie disco vibes kind of.
Yeah, I think that's what I read about this album, that they were trying to like. They were like, oh, we're really inspired by like the classic rock bands of our past who always did a dance record. And the problem with this is those people were like young when they did that. Not to be mean, but if you're like middle-aged and you're trying to make a dance record, I don't know if it's gonna work.
I don't know either. That's it. It just comes off as being super dad.
They meant well.
Rock. I think so too. Yeah. And then I mean, again, like I give Cloud Spotter and was the first track, Making a Fire, points. Those are the only songs I like on this album, but I don't even like those songs very much. And it's just so laughable. So at least you get some entertainment value. Like it's funny in how corny the delivery is. The rest of the album is just not very funny. It's like there's Waiting on a War. And Waiting on a War sounds like it was recorded in the same vein as Shame, Shame. You know, like
yeah,
it's just repeating things and not really ever getting to a point. And it builds up towards the end. But
I thought it was their attempt at like being like, okay, now we're gonna make an anthem. Like it sounds like every Foo Fighter anthem you can think of, but just like derivative and generic.
yeah,
I think you said you're like it builds to absolutely nothing. It doesn't.
it's just him saying Waiting on a War faster. It's just him going, was that more than this and that?
There's no like times like these to learn to live again or learning to walk again. Nothing like that. It doesn't amount to anything.
I know, and even when it does build up, the build up isn't very exciting.
I mean, that actually kind of goes with the title, "Waiting on a War." We're not waiting on anything. Like we're waiting for anything in this song. It's just going nowhere.
I know, it's brutal.
There's more to this and that.
Like, more to this and that. I mean, just waiting on.
Yeah, I would hope there is more to this song, but there was not. So.
Oh, that's a great takedown. I kind of want to look up the lyrics just to see if that's it. It's like, is he gonna reveal what he's waiting on? Are we all gonna, you know?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It's incredibly vague. You can kind of just hear them writing it to be like, okay, we're gonna play this in a stadium one day, and it's probably gonna sound amazing live, even though
I'm sure it will.
It means anything, but.
I'm sure when we do see it live, we'll be moshing around. We'll be jamming out to it because it's live, right? It's fun, even if it's not a great song. We might laugh if anything, but I mean, because that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the lyrics. I'm not really finding much of this. It's just him repeating this and that over and over and over again. More than this than that. Just waiting on a war for this and that. Has got no. Oh no.
Maybe he was waiting to be inspired. I don't.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It just like I'm worried because, I mean, they say you hit rock bottom. It can't be worse than what you hit rock bottom. But I have faith they'll come up with something better than this. But I don't know. This is
again. They don't really owe us anything.
They don't really owe us anything. I know they give us so many good albums, but
so many good songs.
So many good songs. So many great memories. But where do we go from there? I mean, Medicine at Midnight.
Oh,
I don't even remember.
Yeah, this is another dad dance club song.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
It's just
it sounds Bowie-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
can't remember much. I really, like I said, I really cannot remember much of the rest of the. It was so utterly forgettable. From Medicine to Midnight, No Son of Mine. And honestly,
no, mine is no. This one was kind of catchy. I'm trying to remember.
I think the only one that was catchy towards the end, there was a part of Chasing Birds or Love Dies Young. There's a catchy part towards it, but it's towards the end of the song, and then you're like, oh, this is better, and then it's like, no, it doesn't. It still doesn't really save it. No, it's kind of unsalvageable at that point.
The clunkiest riff like ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that I remember. It's like but
I like the part where it's like that's still really generic though.
Yeah, it's really like jerky up and down riffs.
I heard that was supposed to be a Motorhead, like
a tribute to Motorhead, or like, yeah, makes sense. I could see that,
I guess.
But it's just also just bland. Like Holding Poison is just kind of. I mean, I don't really know what to say about that. Like, I'm gonna look at the lyrics for it because I remember something being funny about it. It was like, as a part where it's like I spin around, spin around. Out of the lyrics are just very repetitive for a lot of these songs. It's a lot of like, you know what I want, go around. There's got to be more to this than that. And like, I mean, they're not known as being the most amazingly lyrical band of all time, but I mean, you could sing along to it. I could never find myself singing any of
Yeah,
these
that was what
songs.
makes Foo Fighters great. Is they're like the kings of like, I don't know, the vague hook that can mean anything to anyone, but it like,
Yeah.
you know, but it could mean something. None of these could mean anything. Like they're not inspiring. They're not, you know.
Or when they are uplifting, it's like they're trying really, really, really hard to do it, and it's just not. It's coming
Yeah.
off as being, like you said, really forced. There was something effortless about them, like
There
in their
used to be
first
something
few
effortless
albums.
about them. They used to be, yeah. They used to just like fart out hits. Like it was
I
amazing.
know they had this charm to them, like Learn to Fly could have been about anything, but I mean, I used to listen to it on repeat when I was a kid because it sounded like me, like, finishing my final exam in high school, just getting out of there, and enjoying my summer.
Yeah, they used to be like the to me they're like the Tom Petty of the '90s. You know, they were just like all
Exactly.
their
I
songs were so
exactly.
simple but like so effective.
Yeah, no,
Um,
for sure.
but none of these are all simple, but in the worst
And
way.
oh,
I
in the
don't.
worst possible ways. I
I
know.
mean, I think I respect them in this album, and that like people have been kind of like criticizing them for years for not evolving or doing anything different, but some bands don't need to do that. And I
Yeah.
think the Foo Fighters are one of those bands. Like they're good at what they do, and they should have stuck to it. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you know what? When people criticize them, I'm like, well, so what? I mean, Concrete and Gold had some pretty good songs on it, and so did um well, Sonic Highways. The promotion for that album was like really overdone, but it had some good tunes, and I really liked oh man, why am I drawing a blank here? The one with Rope and Wasting Light. Wasting Light was awesome. It was great. Is even there's always a degree of filler on every one of their albums,
Yeah.
but this is like I can't even find the filler that I like on this album. I mean, I don't even know where you go from there. There's Chasing Birds and Love Dies Young.
Oh,
I
Love Dead
can't.
Young is so. Oh, it sounds so cheesy.
Yeah,
It's like top 40 meets Journey. Like it's so cheese.
I know.
Love Dies Young. Like I'm sorry, guys. You're old. You just need to accept it. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
accept it.
Like
Oh
why are they
man.
trying to be in the top 40? Like they used to just be in the top 40. Like besides the fact that they weren't top 40, like you know, like
Yeah. They were
that's the
just
ironic part. They're trying and it's not working. Like
they were just this rock band. Maybe they just fell in on the heels of their own popularity. They did too many late night show spots. And I feel like once you do too many like late night shows, I feel like your product gets watered down. I feel like at the
yeah.
late night show, people love your stuff.
Oh, yeah. It became like an
It's
institution, like
it
anything.
became, yeah, exactly. It becomes like an institution. It's like everybody loves Dave Grohl, and
I mean, nothing.
some,
Dave Grohl is awesome. He's
yeah,
like
I love
the
Dave Grohl.
best.
Dave Grohl's the kind of guy you want to have a like a beer with at the bar and just
Yeah,
have a good time with. He's everyone's favorite dad, really.
I know. That's why. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was like an album where you know, if you leaned into the dad thing more, and then like didn't do the top 40 thing, this album might have been better. I don't know. Maybe
Wonder
not,
too.
but I don't know.
But
I
they
mean,
gotta
then they like you were gonna mention, but
yeah.
then they made a Bee Gees
Oh
cover,
geez.
the DGs.
The DGs. We were gonna
So that's
review
kind
that,
of
but
makes
then
sense. They went even further. They're like, okay, let's take dad music from like the '70s or dad or mom music, whatever, you know.
they went with the
Move
with the
on.
DGs. I think I kind of enjoyed the DGs more than this album, but that's only because they are performing other people's good music, right? And
Yeah,
it
and
didn't
it was
make me want to
hokey
hear.
but funny.
It was
Yeah,
quirky but funny, and like I just it made me want to. It just made me appreciate the Bee Gees more than anything.
I
I
know.
just
I
wanted to hear
didn't.
the Bee Gees. I didn't really want to hear the Foo Fighters do the Bee Gees, but props to Dave Grohl for
Yeah,
pulling off a mean Barry Gibb. I mean, I gotta say, it's not easy to hit those notes.
no.
uh, well,
Anyway, so this
this
album is
this album just kind of sucks, unfortunately. And again, that's not we like the Foo Fighters, but this goes in the disaster piece pile. We're gonna review other albums we do like, but we had to since we're trying to cover current albums, we had to do this one. And only listen to Medicine at Midnight if you want to laugh at Cloud Spotter or Making a Fire. Otherwise, you can skip it. Go back to their older stuff, their '90s stuff. or 2000s.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's been a good one. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Catch you guys in the next one.